Kicking things off was Becky Lynch against Charlotte Flair, with Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, and Corey Graves on commentary for the opener. And Charlotte made her entrance first, and then Becky comes out. Might I say, every year we have been very negative on the t-shirt delineation between both sides. Outside of that battle royal, no t-shirts, and the color coordination on this show was terrific.
You liked it. Yeah, it was very good. Like, especially on the Survivor Series teams, at least like one particular side would be
They worked it into
colors.
Like natural gear selections that were red or blue instead of, look at me, I'm a dork with this shirt on. Sure, all the dorks were contained to one match.
Yeah.
Becky comes out and she is just staring a hole through Charlotte and just has her eyes locked on her as she walks down the ring, and she's trying to get at Charlotte immediately as the referee is holding her back until the bell rings. And they did not try to do what they did with Charlotte and Nia a while back, where they came back with the rematch and they just tried to make it into this like fake shoot. It was like they were going to have their pro wrestling match, but it was with such an added intensity that I thought they carried that through for the entire duration of the match, that this felt more just a higher level of aggressiveness than we got on anything else on the show. And I thought both women were terrific in this.
I thought so too. I was very curious to see if they would do something embarrassing in trying to convince us that they were going off script and taking the fight into their own hands. And I never got that sense watching this match. Instead, I think they just, simply took the story and used it.
They didn't overthink it, Way. They weren't trying to play this to an audience that is like looking for this to turn into a shoot. They're like, no, we're going to go out there. We're going to have a great match, but we're going to do it as like a grudge match and play into that where we have that audience already believing in that. We don't have to convince anyone of this. We have done the work.
It was the best creative choice. I mean, they took what is a story that I think has captivated the public's attention, and they used it towards creating the art.
So some highlights here saw Flair climbing up and then getting shoved to the floor, selling her knee. They exchanged slaps, chops in this. You got Charlotte yelling, "Talk all your shit, Becky. Talk all your shit." And there's a great story in John Moxley's book about being called to the production truck and being informed that he had said "fuck" on the broadcast and had to apologize to Kevin Dunn. And this became quite the ordeal about the horror of swearing on a broadcast. And Charlotte has kind of made this kind of her calling card of late.
I mean, obviously, shit is no longer on the banned list of words.
That's true. That is true.
Fuck. Fuck, though. I mean, on pay-per-view, she maybe could have gotten away with it.
Flair caught Becky with the Andrade spinning elbow and then dropped her with a boot. Pat McAfee says this match will be talked about 20 years from now, and documentaries will be made about tonight. So he got the wrong Survivor Series. Becky hit the manhandle slam. Flair gets her foot on the rope, and then Becky does a woo before going for the figure four. And then the two are like trading slaps, like the Frank Shamrock Boss Rutan spot, as Flair is in the hold and then reverses it. Becky is then knocked off the apron, and Flair hits her moonsault off the top that, I mean, it barely grazes Becky Lynch. And the announcers could not help but note that, she got enough of her, I guess. It was not that close, but it's...
The latest kayfabe news headline is
Charlotte hits her moonsault?
Charlotte Flair delivers graceful moonsault that almost makes contact with opponent. Yeah, and man, it's like it is a certain running gag in pro wrestling at this point.
It's a backflip landing on your feet. That's it. It's hardly even a moonsault in the traditional sense.
And it's not the landing on the feet part, but more so maybe just, the contact with the opponent. And I don't even know if it's necessarily her or if it's the people that are supposed to catch her to make that contact. But it's even more amusing when Charlotte like sells it like, "I'm the best. You see that? I'm the best." But even commentary like had to call it out. Oh, she didn't really make contact there. So it's probably something that I would love to see her, change up a little.
I would also wonder, like, it's like the way she's coming down, it's like to land on her feet. So it's not even the most like catchable position. At the same time, it's like over time, my God, are you putting a toll on your knees doing this version of your moonsault as opposed to where you are caught and you're not taking all of the force like on your legs where you're landing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a tenth of the athlete that this person would be, so hard for me to say.
Well, then keep doing it. It's her version of the moonsault. Flair applies the disarmer on Becky, who gets to the rope, and then Flair tries an O'Connor roll, grabs the rope, which the referee catches. Becky reverses it, and at the last second, she grabs the rope that the referee misses, and Becky pins her in 18 minutes and 15 seconds, essentially the same way she got the pin at Crown Jewel last month. And Flair just kind of smiled that she had got caught, took her title, left. I wasn't crazy about the finish, but this was a very strong match.
I mean, going into this pay-per-view for both of the title matches, I was expecting screwy fuck finishes with like run-ins and all that. So considering all that, I actually felt like this was probably, in both cases with both title matches, you probably got the cleanest types of finishes that you could have expected given both champions.
There was a lot of protecting on this show. So yes, we kind of we had a lot of creative finishes for some of these elimination matches. So I guess this is on the higher side of clean.
Mm-hmm. And all in all, I thought this was a very good match. It was the match I had the most interest going in, thanks to the story and the media that both did, and whatever you thought of, like whether or not you bought into the storyline, it did allow this crowd to suspend their disbelief enough to get into the intensity of this match, and they created a wonderful atmosphere that to me lasted through this entire what felt like a 30-minute match. The tension I thought was carried really well throughout. Both of them weren't afraid to hit a little bit harder throughout it all. And to me, it made sense with both being heels, the fact that you would have both of them trying to screw one another in the finish. So I thought they turned this into a fun piece of fiction.
Yeah, there was quite the interview that Becky did on WWE.com after this. And I mean, she just kind of like, she starts crying, just based off of like, this is, you're just coming off the high of this match and kind of reflecting on where her relationship with Charlotte has gone. And it just seemed like it was quite the interview if you have the time to watch it.